Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. This is going to be a follow-up to the video that I made on what if this was a deepfake. And when I refer to this, that's the Donald Trump video that was released, I believe, on January 7th. And this is where he was actually, using his platform to say, please stop, I concede, and just move on. And that was supposed to quell things. Now, when I first released that video, I was thinking about the way it was lit, the way it was kind of coming together, and how it could be a deepfake. Honestly, at the time, I didn't think it was, but so many people in the comment section below of that video thought that it was. So we're going to re-examine that video, and we're going to talk a little bit about deepfakes being the next generation of computer-generated material in not only TVs, movies, but in maybe video releases for public figures, because video is a huge part about what people do in the world. There's TikToks for fun, just, short little videos. There's YouTube like this to get your point across. There's Instagram videos for more pretty little snapshots and beautiful cinematics. And, each little platform has its place to kind of tell a story about what's happening in the world. And because everybody has a camera, either maybe shooting on a semi-pro like the Canon M6 Mark II that I have here, or a professional camera, or things that are cinematic, like they shoot movies with, video tells a story, and video is very important because it's really easy to share. Literally, I record this. I don't do a lot of editing myself. I put a front banner and ending banner, and then I just shoot it off to YouTube, and that's literally it. Maybe a title. That's it. But what I find interesting is the way that this Donald Trump video was shot, because I still don't think it was a deepfake, but there are so many telling signs that it could have been a deepfake, and there are ways that you can kind of shoot your video so that people will immediately think, okay, that's definitely can't be a deepfake, or there is much less of a chance of it being a deepfake, because there are two kind of deepfakes right now. There's a passable deepfake that you may have seen on have you seen Corridor Crew? They do deepfakes where I think they had Keanu Reeves. They had kind of look-alike of Keanu Reeves and somebody who had the same kind of mannerisms and voice acting as him, and they put Keanu Reeves, the actor's face, in a video that they were doing, and it was kind of fun, but you definitely could tell because there was so much movement, the camera was moving around so much, it was hard for them to track Keanu Reeves' face onto this person. And while it was entertaining, and maybe in a few years it'll be passable for movies if there's a lot of movement, it was just that, entertaining. I guess the next step in this tier would be Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, where he was just in one place. All that was going to be moving in this scene was his head. He was looking down, he was looking up, and what they were using was a body double for Mark Hamill, and then they were using kind of I think it was computer-generated technology, so it wasn't exactly a deepfake. But why I mention this is because that kind of had the uncanny valley thing going on, where it didn't look quite right. It was entertaining and it worked for the story as to de-age the actor of Mark Hamill to play Luke Skywalker again. For me, I loved it. I thought it was great. But then I saw online people actually using deepfake technology to make the scene a little better, and I believe that they did make it better. They made it more believable. Although the lighting was matched perfectly, it just kind of worked out really well as a deepfake, especially these people doing the deepfake. I can't remember which channel I saw, but they do this with a number of different properties, and I think they do it very well, and it's very convincing for short bursts. But then I kind of think of what I was just talking about. The Keanu Reeves movie where he's moving around, it's entertaining, they're kind of tracking a face, It's entertaining, but it's not perfect. The Luke Skywalker one, where if they did use deepfake and he was kind of, you know, in one place, it would have been much more believable because all that's moving is the head. And then we get to the Donald Trump video, where literally all he's in a generally lit room, and that's the best way that you can actually have something like a deepfake occur. Now, before I go too much into this, I couldn't generate a deepfake if my life depended on it. I literally edit my videos on an iPhone. I like to keep everything very simple, but I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos where they do have the technology available either in a laptop or a desktop PC, and they can do really, really good work with this. And but that was just a disclaimer on what I personally do. So with the Donald Trump video, it was generally lit. They had a background that did not move. He did not move. They had a podium that was just kind of solid there. And what I want to go through is how that could have been a deepfake and the kind of clues that point to it may, you know, who knows if it was a deepfake or not. So first thing you have here is you have him at a podium. The podium's kind of like this. His hands are covered by the podium. So imagine them being right here. I'm trying to frame myself. And every once in a while you can see his hands move above the podium like this. But in other Donald Trump videos, you can always see he is a very visual man in the way that he communicates, and he kind of moves his hands, and what's this little thing he does? You know, he does something like this. So the movements, while he was kind of standing forward like this, you know, he's always a little bit hunched over like this. So he was talking, he was not really moving his body. He doesn't generally move the body, but the hands are something that do move. So what could be done as a deepfake? This is the perfect scenario where it could have been a deepfake because you have general lighting. So what they have to do is match the face to a body double, and you know, they do so many algorithms to kind of work with many lighting if you have a moving camera. But if you don't have a moving camera and you have general lighting that doesn't change, it's extremely easy, or it's a lot easier to paste that face on top of the body double. So I think that the fact that you don't see many hand movements, many body movements, and there's literally a cut between, and I think this is nothing to do if it was a deepfake or not. There is definitely something inserted in the video, possibly after the fact, just to kind of clarify things. If you're looking at this, he had his kind of speech going forward. Please stop. You are terrorists. I'm not paraphrasing, completely paraphrasing, so I'm not putting words in his mouth. You can just go watch the video yourself. But he was, you know, trying to quell what was going on in a way that he has never kind of spoken before. Now, midway through the video, they do cut, and it's him at, instead of this angle, it's at this angle, and they're cutting to say that I lost the election, move on. And then they cut back, and it's kind of like, you can even tell that it's not a perfect cut. And deep fake or not, this is just a cut in between a video. It's not something that they should have done. They should have re-recorded the entire thing, but then maybe they thought after they did the production, okay, we need to clarify this one thing. We need him to say that he lost. And that is an idea that sometimes when you film something for entertainment, you go back and you do reshoots. This, you know, they probably had him come back in, said, this is what you have to say, and this is how you're going to say it, and then you're just going to kind of go with it there. Again, whether or not I thought this was a deepfake, I thought that this was something that was not characteristic in what Donald Trump usually does, but I think it's something that had to have been said, and whether his aides, his cabinet, the people around him, or the government as a whole said, you know what, it's enough with these kind of just inflammatory statements. You have to say this to kind of calm down America in general. So for whatever the reason, I'm not going to be kind of like being a conspiracy theorist on this. There are so many reasons why this video came out at this point, why it came out on this platform, but It's interesting to think something that is filmed kind of as we're doing here with general lighting on me. The only thing where you can see lighting change is I have a TV playing in the background with silence, and it's kind of casting different light. So if I was doing a deepfake, if I was a deepfake, the kind of lighting that's cast differently wouldn't be optimal. So this is like the first level. Imagine there's no TV here, just the same lighting. This is the optimum way to have a deepfake. Light always on, you know, kind of one side, and maybe frame it with a hat or something like that, so you don't have to do like the top of the head. The next thing to make it harder is to make light around you that's going to be kind of changing, as in maybe you shot during one time of the day where the sun was like this, and you're like, oh shoot, I have to do something else, and the sun's gone down. So you're going to want to have kind of ambient, what do you call it? Not sunlight, just ambient like LEDs and like, you know, professional lighting on you, so that lighting never changes. That would be the next thing. The next thing is going to be if you take your camera and you are moving. Now, if you're moving and you're casting different lights on you, it's going to be a lot harder to do anything computer generated, because the lighting is going to change, the background is going to change. If it's a handheld camera, you're moving this around like this. I have no image stabilization on this right now, so it's going to kind of warp, and you're going to have to correct this, and this is where you find artifacts and things that just don't work out. But when you're doing a deepfake, you want to do it well, so you have to understand these rules that you have to abide by to make sure that your production does work. But I just think this is an interesting thought. There's so many ways that you could do this at home. It's becoming easier and easier. But I guess my initial statement for last video was it would be interesting if we were at a place where that speech could be deepfaked now. Now, in a few years, I believe it's definitely going to be possible. But with what I've seen in the way of, I guess I'm watching just kind of YouTubers do deepfakes, because people in cinema really aren't using deepfakes yet. They're using more of just like computer generated completely people. So it's going to be interesting to see. If you have any comments or questions, put it in the comment section below right there. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram at m8b9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. If you want any more conversations about deepfakes, just I'm not deepfake, but just be like deepfake and thumbs up, and then we can always talk more about this, and I will include your comments and questions in the next video. You know, if you've taken a look at the channel, if you've only found me through the Donald Trump video, I do tons of different kind of content. I do walking content around the city, I do product reviews, I do political commentary, tech commentary, just a lot of different things. So I'm not going to be focused on one thing for too long, but I think this is a very interesting thing for where we are right now. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Are you a deepfake?